Howdy, everybody. This is Jessica with Chapter 7's On Your Own Exercise over modern hip hop and trap music. If I'm being honest, this was foreign territory for me as far as the genres go. I don't really listen to hip hop or trap music like at all, to be honest. And so the chapter gave some examples and I did some research on YouTube and I hadn't heard any of those songs before. So I was in the deep end as far as the genres go and getting the feel for like hip hop and or trap music. So I went to Google and did some research outside of songs themselves and found this Cymatics page that offers some starter packs and some sample packs for different genres like EDM, hip hop, dubstep, whatever have you. But they do have a trap one. So I downloaded this trap starter pack for like a ground zero, someplace to start, and that's how we got here. So I have some drums, brass, which is kind of like the main show, synth, a couple basses, and a couple racks of sound effects. So these are split up into two simply because this 4-bar build was much louder than this 1-bar build. So I just backed that volume off a little bit. And I did throw this bass in here. It acts as a drone for this particular section. So in the basses, I do have a bass that's like the lead bass there, if that's what you want to call it. So the piece is in D sharp, so this is just a D sharp drone under all of that. So as far as effects goes, on the drums I have a compressor and EQ. The drums have a kick, the clap, and hi-hat. And so the clap, I went ahead and brought out those mids. I don't really like the way the clap sounds on the 808 kit, so I just backed those off a little bit. They're still present, but it just kind of it takes away that sharp ring that those claps have on the 808. On the brass, I have a compressor and EQ. The synth has a warm tube, so a dynamic tube on it, and then echo. Personal preferences on echo and delay, I'm not a huge fan of them. In fact, probably 80% of the time I'd rather not use them. I went ahead and threw it in here. This is just 8th note synth, so I thought the echo would kind of sound cool on it, which it does. I went ahead and backed it off just 20% though, so it's not like an in-your-face type of deal. It's present, but it just kind of adds to the piece as opposed to making itself present and known it's there. The basses, so this bass has some compressor and EQ on it. This bass has compressor and EQ on it as well. I went ahead and left the sound effects alone. I know that bass is in there, but it's like a 4-bar little phrase there, and it's so subdued, and it's just a drone, and you barely even know it's there. So I just left it alone. So I think that's it for session view. I'll go ahead and switch over to arrangement view. Automation wise, I just added some like a fade to the end of the piece. If you couldn't guess, I'm not a rapper, so I didn't put any lyrics in here. So I went ahead and signified the end of the piece with that fade. When I was doing it, I just did I did a, kind of like a verse chorus type thing, some sort of pattern like that. So I faded it out just to signify that was the end of the piece. I think that's about it for all this stuff. To answer a couple of questions out of the book, how loud should the kick and sub bass be? I went ahead and made it present and known it was there, but I didn't make it so loud that, if this was going on in a club, it would give somebody a headache. And how could a hip hop track be performed live using session view? So I recorded everything in session view and then recorded it over arrangement view to show you guys. And when I was doing it, I didn't really have a set. Yeah, I have this master track kind of built up, but I didn't really have a set go through master on this 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. I played through a little bit of it, and then when I wanted to go back, I went back, and when I wanted to drop out for a second, I dropped out, and when I wanted to build, I build, and so forth till I kind of felt like I had a song. And that's how it worked for me. And if the next guy came along and wanted to do it differently, using session view, there's no reason he couldn't. A couple of these tracks, like this particular line here, it's just got a sound effect on it. I didn't even play it out of the master track. I just went over and clicked on it when the time came and moved on. So anybody as they come along could play it differently, and that's the nice thing about Session View. It was definitely something I was scared of when I first did it, and I'm certainly no master yet, but I'm starting to like Session View quite a bit. It really allows for me to play around and listen to things before I commit to it in arrangement view. So I think that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to talk about for this piece, so I'll go ahead and let you guys listen to it.